Greetings all and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm looking at doing a simple and plain talk through on the Asus Rog Ally X reveal trailer that was released on Sunday. So the ROG ALLy X was officially announced by Asus at Computex on Sunday. Quite a few of the major reviewers on YouTube have already had hands-on with the device. They haven't been able to do proper testing, but they do have had some experiences with it and have had a lot of thoughts about it. So I thought I just had to do a video on this because it's been so talked about and so rumored, the next Asus ROG Ally, that I just had to put out a reaction video. So this is the first time that I'm going to be doing quite an informal video as this, just talking through a reveal trailer and just casually discussing what's happening. So I don't, I'm not particularly good at that, at just being off the cuff. So bear with me and be patient as we try this out, and hopefully you get a good experience out of it and you get some good facts out of it. This will basically just be my thoughts on the reveal of the ROG Ally X, whether or not it's worth it to upgrade. It is it's not a Ally 2, at least. It's only a refresh of the first initial unit. So first up, I'm going to just open up this video and make it big so we can all see properly. There we go. And the first thing that you can actually see about this unit is that it looks quite a bit different from the old Ally. Very much the same, but it is quite a bit thicker. Well, not quite a bit, a little bit thicker. It has a different ergonomic design. Um, and the D-pad is very noticeable, quite a bit bigger. So yeah, that's the first thing that you can see straight off the bat. It still has the same AMD Z1 Extreme processor and the same screen. So those have not changed. But other than that, Asus has changed almost everything on this unit, which is quite significant. It is quite a bit more expensive, but uh, in my opinion, it may actually just be worth it. And we'll discuss that a little bit more later. Initially, I didn't think it would be worth it. Initially, I thought that it's not going to be worth going straight for this, especially at the price difference on with the old Ally. But yeah, we'll discuss that a little bit more. Let's just roll the trailer a bit further and have a look. The first other major thing that's changed is it has an 80 watt hour battery. The previous ROG Ally had a 40 watt hour battery, so that's effectively double the capacity on the battery, which is quite noteworthy. And it should give quite a significant amount of extra playtime. So yeah, that is one of the major big upgrades on this one. So yeah, let's roll further. Uh, Looks quite cool. Comes with Windows 11. As mentioned, still AMD Z1 Extreme, the same APU as on the original ROG Ally. It is quite a good chip, and you can play most AAA games with it. Probably not at full FPS with full settings or so, but you can still play almost everything that's out there as far as I'm aware. And yeah, it could be quite a bit of a disappointment that hasn't been changed. That would rather be in the next gen type of console, which would be the ROG Ally 2. But another thing that was mentioned by Russ over at Retro Game Corps, which I found interesting and quite true, is that it's actually a good thing if companies stick with the same core hardware on these units, because it gives developers of the drivers and developers of games and software more time to adjust and tune their software to these chips. So it actually runs better than a completely new chip would run right off the bat. I'm stuttering over my own words there, sorry. But yeah, it actually runs better that way. And that is actually quite true. It's a significant thing to take note of when you look at one of these units, is you're going to be receiving a unit that has already got a lot of software history and support and development behind it, which means that it should run quite smooth. So yeah, let's move on. Cool graphics. Next major update is that they changed the SD slot on the unit from a 22 M.22230 to M.22280. And why this is significant is that the 2280 is just much more widely available, which means that they are usually cheaper as well. And if I'm not mistaken, you do get larger capacities on the 2280, which goes up to 4 terabytes or so, if I'm not mistaken, which you can plug into this unit then. Not that you would need, well, I mean, game libraries are quite big these days, so a 4 terabyte drive on a Windows handheld shouldn't be abnormal. It'll give you more than enough space for the likes of Horizon Zero Dawn and those kinds of games that have between 80 to over 100 gigs worth of install. So yeah, that is quite a significant change. And also the way this unit has been put together, it looks like it's been very designed to be very user friendly, or very easily moddable, which is a good thing, which I've seen in some of the trailers, the trailer, and in some of the hands-on reactions that guys have had who've had the privilege to go and actually hold this thing and look at it and experience the unit. Um, so yeah, this is one of the other major differences. Next major difference, sorry, I skipped that a bit there, but it starts out with 24 gigs of RAM, DDR5 RAM. So it is also DDR5. The previous ROG Ally had 16 gigs. This one's got 24 gigs, but it is faster RAM as well. So this should make a nominal difference, because you're going to have more RAM to play around with the graphics chip on the CPU. So that'll give it a little bit more headroom with a little bit more bandwidth to play with. So we should see some better frame rates out of this one. That's all just theoretical still, but because nobody's actually had a chance to actually do comparisons between the old Ally and this Ally and actually do benchmarking and testing. There are some benchmarks up on the Asus site, but they will always give you the optimal results. So it would be better to wait a bit and see, but I'm pretty sure we should see some better improvement on this unit. And as mentioned, the next thing is to double the battery capacity. So once again, we'll have to see how much extra gameplay time you get out of it. But theoretically, with double the battery, you should see quite a bit of a difference. So if we move on, the next thing they're discussing here to get it to play is that they've got a bit of smaller fans. The fans are a little bit smaller. And this is something that I also wanted to discuss, is the actual holes, the analog sticks. They have apparently been significantly improved. They've got this kind of lining around your premium lining that makes it a lot easier to move around with. The reviewers who've had hands-on experience like the grippiness and compared it to Xbox controller type of analog sticks, which would be quite good, and apparently quite an upgrade over the previous unit. So I don't own a original Asus Rog Ally. I would love to, but yeah, from the reviews I've seen and the feedback I've seen, it looks like this would be quite a bit of an upgrade, and guys are shining to it. We'll know more when we get proper in-depth reviews, when the reviewers have had a chance to work with some retail units. But let's see. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, yeah, so quite a bit of a change to the actual ergonomics of the unit. So it's apparently more comfortable than the old unit. Is a little bit thicker, but also it's got a lot of exhaust vents for airflow and so on. You'll see in the next little segment here that they've actually got a percentage there. I think it's about 24% cooler, which is good. One of the major problems that the previous ROG Ally had is that the way it was designed, it actually damaged the SD cards. Or there was a lot of times when it would damage your SD card in the unit. The heat pipe that drew the heat away from the CPU ran right over the SD card slot. So if you really push the unit, a lot of people had a bad experience with the SD cards getting damaged. And Asus has kind of been in limbo about this. They've acknowledged that there's a fault, but they're not really taking responsibility for it. They didn't recall the ROG Ally. They only offered an extra warranty of up to 2 years, and they said that if anything gets damaged, they will replace the SD card. So it's a lot of people are upset about this because they feel like Asus is not really taking responsibility for their mistake, their design flaw. But that has been corrected in this unit, and the SD card slot's been moved. There's a lot more cooling, and apparently it's quite quiet as well. So that is quite cool. So if we move on, what's there to say? 24% more airflow, 6 degrees cooler. Same screen as we mentioned. Really cool graphics in the trailer here. Really liked the way they presented it. So yeah, that's it for the trailer basically. But just one or two more things that I wanted to say about it is that the pricing is going to come in at about $800 apparently. If we go over to the Asus site, I'll leave a link in the description. It's going to not 700, $800. Sorry. So $800. It's about $200 more expensive, depending on where you look to buy the previous ROG Ally. Goes for around $500 to $600. I'm guessing depending on the model as well. But yeah, that's quite a big price bump for something that doesn't have is not a next gen console as per se. But there's so many differences on this unit that like I said, I initially thought it wouldn't really be worth it. I'm not a fan of revisions like this, but this is quite significant. They've changed a lot of things to tweak and adjust it and make it more in line with what gamers would want. Also, something else that I didn't mention is the front-firing speakers. Pretty good. It means you're going to get good sound quality out of this. And then you've got these buttons. I was struck by how large they are. Should mean more comfortable. So yeah, that's all of these things are quite interesting. And now, whether or not is it going to be worth it to upgrade from an old Ally to this Ally? Uh, it may be. I mean, initially I thought, no, if you've got the old Ally, I mean, you've already got pretty good unit. It's the ROG Ally is, except for all the issues they had with the SD cards, it's a very good unit. A lot of people like it. Most people enjoy it. Don't own one, like I said. I would have loved to, but this looks like it might actually be worth it. I would even go as far as to say that it might be worth selling your old Ally and upgrading to this one. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to go right for the new unit, one good thing that would come out of the release of the ROG ALLy X is that you will have a price drop on the original ROG Ally. And even though it did have those issues with the SD cards, damaging the SD cards, there is a mod available that I've seen online where you can simply put some thermal tape over the SD card slot under the heat pipe. And apparently it does help quite a bit to insulate that SD card. Also, Asus does offer a 2-year warranty on the unit, and they've said that they would replace any damaged SD cards. So it might even be worth it to get a second-hand unit or to get a new ROG Ally, just at reduced prices. So yeah, that's definitely something good that will come out of the release of the ROG ALLy X. I'm really looking forward to seeing some good, proper hands-on reviews when the main reviewers on YouTube get their hands on proper retail units. We'll leave some links in the description below to the hands-on reviews I mentioned, so you can go and check those out if you want to. And yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you think? Would it be worth upgrading from the old Ally to this new refreshed version? Or would you rather wait for the Ally 2, which should be due sometime next year? So interesting thought, interesting discussion, I think. So would love to chat it out with you guys and let me know. But that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found some value from it and that I didn't suck too much in it. Sure. Catch you in the next tech update.